So this is the first video assignment project for our group. It's going to be done by Abigail Hart, Emily Hodges, and Sydney Cambell. So the instructions were to create a 10-minute video focusing on an Asian topic or phenomenon. And after some discussion with our group, we knew that we wanted to choose a topic that everyone was familiar with so that everyone could kind of relate to it a little bit. But we didn't want our topic to be that well known. We picked a topic that maybe wasn't as researched as some of the other popular topics or well known. We decided to center our project around food. Specifically, we are going to talk about the loss of culture associated with Chinese American food, more specifically associated with the rise of Chinese American restaurants such as Panda Express and Pei Wei and P.F. Chang's, but we are mostly going to focus on Panda Express. And first, the video is going to open with Emily talking about the history of Chinese food and Chinese American food. And then I'm going to talk about the history of Panda Express. Then Sydney is going to talk about the success of Panda Express and the rival restaurants, Chinese American rival restaurants. And then Emily is going to talk about the traditional Chinese food versus the food served at Panda Express. And then in between all of these different topics, I will be talking about how these aspects and successes in different foods are leading to a loss of culture.
The history of Chinese food. It started with the development of the Han Dynasty, the rise of restaurant culture in the Song Dynasty, and the 16th century introduction of American ingredients like chili peppers, which shaped modern diverse regional styles. The preferences for seasoning and cooking techniques in Chinese provinces depend on differences in social class, religion, historical background, and ethnic groups. Imperial, royal, and noble preferences also play a role in the change of Chinese cuisine. Because of imperial expansion, immigration, and trading, ingredients and cooking techniques from other cultures have been integrated into Chinese cuisine over time, and Chinese culinary influences have spread worldwide. The history of Chinese American food. American Chinese cuisine can be traced back to the California Gold Rush, when Chinese immigrants came in search of work as gold miners and railroad workers. As more Chinese arrived, the state introduced laws that prohibited immigrants from owning land. The smaller restaurants adapted Chinese food to suit the taste of American customers, such as miners and railroad workers, serving a variety of dishes ranging from pork chop sandwiches and apple pie to beans and eggs. The dishes served in North American Chinese restaurants are modified to suit customers' tastes and are often quite different from styles common in China. By the late 20th century, it was recognized as one of the many regional styles of Chinese cuisine. Authentic Chinese food versus Panda Express Chinese. Traditional Chinese cuisine in America is overloaded with sauce and oil. Orange chicken, one of the most popular dishes at Panda Express, is not an actual authentic Chinese dish. The popular fortune cookie is not even an actual thing in Chinese culture. It's just something America decided for Chinese restaurants. And Chinese fried rice is Americanized and is blander and has a less intense flavor compared to actual Chinese fried rice.
While many of us love this Chinese American cuisine, it is actually leading to a loss of culture or contributing to the loss of culture. So as Emily mentioned with the California Gold Rush, these immigrants were creating their traditional Chinese food, but they were modifying the recipes to attract non-Chinese customers because in America there weren't a lot of Asian people at the time. And that means that traditional regional flavors that came from China, Korea, Japan, Malaysia, Thailand got overshadowed by the American flavors. This leads to a loss of culture as we are losing the Chinese and Asian side of the flavors and we are getting more of the American side of the flavors. And then next we are going to talk about Panda Express. So this is going to be a brief history about Panda Express, because we've all been to Panda Express. So in 1973 was actually when the first one was opened, but it was not a Panda Express. It was called Panda Inn, and it was a sit-down, family-style restaurant started by Andrew Turing and his father. In 1983 was actually when the first Panda Express opened, and it was in a mall in Glendale, California. And then in 1987, in one of the first 100 Panda Express locations, orange chicken was developed. It was actually developed in Hawaii. And now over 110 million pounds of orange chicken are sold every year throughout the entire company, and it accounts for 30% of the company's total sales. And then in 2023, Panda Express actually celebrated its 40th anniversary.
Panda Express has been very successful over its long existence. As of recently, it has around 2,400 locations worldwide and is one of the largest Asian-style food restaurants in America. They have restaurants in places like Mexico, Canada, South Korea, United States, and many other countries. The company generates over $5 billion in annual revenue. That makes it one of the highest grossing restaurant chains in America. Often, each individual store can earn up to over $2 million per year, and the chain often opens up 100 or more new stores per year. Panda Express often places its stores in high-traffic areas such as universities, shopping centers, and airports. The company employs thousands of workers worldwide, and there's constant growth. Panda Express has a couple of rival chains that serve very similar food. One of these chains is P.F. Chang's. The main difference between P.F. Chang's and Panda Express is that Panda Express is a fast food restaurant, while P.F. Chang's is a sit-down experience where you're waited on by staff. Panda Express is also cheaper than P.F. Chang's and has more locations. P.F. Chang's is often found in more upscale areas compared to the areas that Panda Express is normally found. P.F. Chang's also has a larger menu compared to Panda Express. They serve more things, including sushi and cocktails. Another chain that is similar to Panda Express is Pei Wei Asian Kitchen. They also include Thai and Korean options, unlike Panda Express. And similar to P.F. Chang's, Pei Wei has far less locations than Panda Express. It's always good to have competition, and both restaurants have challenged Panda Express to keep their prices low and their food tasting good.
Although the expansion of Panda Expresses is great for getting new people interested in Chinese cuisine and Asian cuisine, it is actually not very well. Although the expansion of Panda Express and other Chinese American companies such as P.F. Chang's or Pei Wei's is great for bringing Chinese food into America, it's not very good culturally. So with these restaurants, what they are doing is they are taking the very broad Chinese and Asian food and they are categorizing it into one idea. So instead of getting like Szechuan chicken, sweet and sour chicken, we're just going to orange chicken, teriyaki chicken, we're just going to basics, and that's really diminishing the culture. It's reducing the deep Chinese culinary diversity and Asian diversity. And also, Panda Express and these other businesses operate as a for-profit organization, which means that their recipes are not based on tradition and they are based on statistics. So it's based on what is going to make them the most money, not what is most culturally significant or what is most connected to the Chinese or Asian culture.